What's up, guys? Neil Orfield here to talk a little Underdog NBA Playoff Best Ball. While you're coming in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. Underdog is, of course, your one-stop shop for all your best ball, fantasy, and pick'em prop needs, and we have a great offer for new users. You can get a 100% first deposit match bonus up to $100 by clicking the link in the description of this video or using promo code Stokastic. Again, click the link in the description of this video or use promo code Stokastic to get a first deposit match bonus up to $100. So if you put $100 into your account, they will automatically match that $100. You'll have $200 right away. Or if you just put 20 bucks in, they'll match that 20 bucks. You'll have 40 bucks right away. Great deal there if you want to sign up at Underdog. I am, as you can see here, I've entered a draft. I am waiting for the final spot to fill. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long. I've been sitting here a little while. The fifth spot has been going 5-4, 5-4. People have been entering and then leaving this draft frequently. So hopefully, we don't have that happen. I would like to get this draft going pretty soon, but I guess this gives me a little bit of time to go over the format a little bit. Again, this is for the best ball format. So ultimately, you're playing through 4 rounds of the playoffs. And what you need is a team that's going to do well in the finals. So you need 5 players. And the construction of these is in each round, you get your best players from 1 guard, 1 wing, 1 big, and then 2 flex plays is the roster construction here. So you get your best player from those positions in the first round, second round, third round, and then of course the finals. So to do well in the finals, which is what you really need to do, you need to do well in the finals, where that's where you really win. The big money is winning in the finals. So you need 5 players to fill those positions. Again, it's 1 guard, 1 wing, 1 big in the finals. So I'm trying to construct lineups that have 5 players that I think will be in the finals. And typically, I don't want to take those 5 players all from one team. So like if you think, that Denver is going to be in the finals, I'm not just going to take 5 Nuggets players. I'm going to take 3 Nuggets players and then maybe 2 Bucks players, or try to mix up players from the 2 different conferences is ideally the way I'm going to approach this mix and match, because I don't want to be duped in the final, anything like that. So I'm trying to find 5 players that I think could be from teams that play each other in the finals, and then from there, I'm just trying to fill it in with players that I think can get me to the finals. So star players who might be in there, do well in the first couple rounds, even if I don't think they're going to be to the finals. As you can see here, I got the second overall pick, so I can get one of Giannis or Jokic here. And if you're just looking at 538 playoff odds here in terms of chance of making the finals, the Bucks have a 26% chance, the Nuggets 26%. Celtics actually up there at 38%. Maybe I should be taking a Celtics player instead. I think I'm just going to take, this is tough. It's actually tough with the Celtics. According to 538, Celtics have a 38% chance here. I'm a little bit tempted. I also don't have many Celtic sacks. Maybe I do that. Maybe I skip over. Giannis also going to be great in the first round, though. That's a really tough call here. Jaylen Brown's going to go before I can get to him. Hard to build that correctly. Yeah, I'm just going to go Giannis here since I have the second pick. Bucks a pretty good bet here, I think, to make the finals. So I've committed now. I took Giannis as my first overall pick. I'm going to be building a lineup that can do well in the finals. It's going to be the Bucks, and then it's going to be some team from the Western Conference that I think has a good chance of making the finals. So just looking at the odds again, chance of making the finals. For some reason, this doesn't sort correctly here, but it's going to be from the Western Conference. The top odds is going to be Grizzlies. Nuggets are going to be teams that I'm going to try to focus on here. Warriors actually look pretty good as well. Suns kind of moving up there. Finally up at 12%. For a while, Suns were lagging behind, and it didn't make a lot of sense to people. I think the drafts were a little bit sharp and kind of assumed they're actually better than 538 was giving them credit for. And you can see they've moved up in the standings a little bit. So I think I'm going to want to take Bucks, and then somebody, I'll see what falls to me, but it's going to be Grizzlies or Nuggets or Warriors or Suns, probably. Oh, and I'm on the clock. All right. Well, I could take Steph Curry right away, and then I would have the star player from both of the finals teams if I take Steph Curry. I've got Giannis already. Build for Bucks Warriors. Kind of interesting there. I don't hate it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do Bucks Warriors, maybe a little bit unique, and I'm going to have the star player from each team right away. I can get one of these Bucks players on the wraparound. Yeah, I'm coming up. Let's see here. Those two, maybe Bobby Portis. And then Warriors, Clay. Oh, that didn't work. Draymond. All right, let me take a look who's available here. I am at the 14th pick, and I don't have a big yet, and there's no real great pick. I could take Draymond later on. Maybe that's another approach I could take, is taking Draymond later on instead of locking in Brook Lopez here, but I'm just going to go with Brook Lopez. I think that is actually kind of an interesting decision point there. I think if I had planned out ahead a little bit better than I did here, I kind of come in here and I haven't done that many drafts. Sometimes after I've done drafts, I kind of have an idea of what I want to do. I think it might have been a smart idea with these two teams I'm building in mind to take somebody else who's going to help me to get through the first couple rounds. So maybe Domantas Sabonis would have made sense there as somebody who can put up a lot of fantasy points for a couple rounds. And then instead of taking Brook Lopez here, take Draymond Green later on might have made some sense. I'm okay with it. It's still it's going to be a fine build here. But I think that's something that I might want to experiment with is holding off, not taking Brook Lopez there, and then wait and take Draymond Green as my big in this matchup instead, because I think he's also a fine big here. All right, let me make sure I have all my Warriors. I want to take Poole. Really hard to know Andrew Wiggins' status right now. I'll add him to the mix, though, and think about taking him later on if I need to. I guess another good reason to take Brook Lopez there is there really aren't that many bucks that you want to take. So Giannis, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, all pretty strong options. But man, Bobby Portis, that was a reach. Took him at 20. So now I've got $2. Now I'm actually glad that I took Brook Lopez because all of the other viable bucks have now been taken. Apparently, I was not the only person who wanted some bucks here. So if I can get Clay here, I think that is a strong looking finals lineup. Could I wait and take Clay? Maybe I could, but I don't know if there's anybody else that I want to take for the first round. Anyway, I think I'm okay reaching for Clay Thompson here. What are the Sacramento Kings? They've already made the playoffs. Ooh, man, that's tough. Maybe De'Aaron Fox helps me get through the round. I think there are other strong options I could take because I wouldn't mind getting. I'm going to take Clay here, and then get either Kawhi or De'Aaron Fox, I think, for my next pick. And then I can get either Draymond or Jordan Poole or Andrew Wiggins to close it out later. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. So I've already got a very strong guard and wing. Steph Curry and Giannis are clearly going to be my top wing and guard options. And then Brook Lopez, not the strongest big. Let's see if there are any bigs that I could take who are maybe going to help me. Man, now I'm thinking Julius Randle might actually make sense for me here. Or Evan Mobley. Yeah, Nick's already in the playoffs, or the Cavs. Cavs already in the playoffs also. I think that they're actually better options in terms of I think I got to go with Julius Randle if I get him at this pick. And I'm not really hoping, like, I'm not planning for the Knicks to make the finals here. I just think Julius Randle, a very strong fantasy contributor to help me get through the first round. And I think it makes sense to take him here. So I'm actually going to go with Julius Randle because the other positions like Kawhi, De'Aaron Fox, I guess Kawhi went, but De'Aaron Fox, I've already got a really strong guard in Steph Curry. So I think Julius Randle is the better option because I need a stronger big to get me through the first, maybe second round. And Julius Randle, I think, is a strong option there. But I've only got 4 so far of my Golden State and Bucks players. I've got Curry, Giannis, Clay, and Brook Lopez. So I do need one more to get me through the finals. I've got all the positions covered. I've got one wig, one guard, one big. So I can just take whoever has the best projection of the remaining players. It's not important. So any one of, I mean, Draymond probably the best option of the 3, but really any of them will help me close it out. And honestly, it wouldn't be that shocking to me if any of these 3 ended up being the highest scorer of the 3 of them. So I don't really care that much who I get. I think I could take another risk with my next pick and then just take best available at 38. I think that's what I'm going to do. So best available with my next pick. We've got a few to get to me, though. Like Robert Williams doesn't interest me because I'm not building for a Boston stack. If I were building for a Boston stack, then sure, maybe that would be a nice. He's a fine big to have in that finals matchup. But since I'm not building for a Boston stack, it wouldn't make any sense for me to take Robert Williams here. I'm specifically building for a Milwaukee and Golden State stack, so I want good fantasy producers at whatever position I can find here. So Cat would make a lot of sense for me. Of course, the Timberwolves. My Timberwolves looked beautiful last week. We're winning some games that they kind of surprised me with, and then they, of course, lost to the Trailblazers, the tanking Trailblazers. They lost and got down to a 49% chance of making the playoffs as of yesterday. Big win tonight against the Nets. They are back up to a 65% chance of making the playoffs, according to 538. So I'm excited to see that they're back in a good position to potentially make the playoffs. Maybe I can hope that Cat gets there and take a risk on Cat here. Could also go with Bam Adebayo, strong fantasy producer. But again, I think I can hold off to my next pick and take one of these guys there. So I think it's going to be probably Cat for me. Yeah, I think Cat is the best fantasy producer from this group. So I'm going to go with Cat in this spot. It's a little bit of a reach to take Cat here. Sort of second guessing myself, but also, yeah, Julius Randle. Screw it. I'm going Cat. Going with the upside there. And then I'll, with my next pick at 38, I'll take one of Draymond or Jordan Poole to close out my finals team, along with, again, Steph, Giannis, Clay, and Brook Lopez. And then go for upside with my other picks. Just players who are going to get me through the first round, hopefully second round. Ideally, whichever players I take are going to make it into the second round and help me there as well. But at least somebody who can help me through the first round, somebody who has big upside to put up a lot of fantasy points in the first round. All right, so he took Draymond Green. All right, good on you. I don't really care. I think Draymond, maybe I would have slightly preferred him over Jordan Poole, but I don't care all that much. Kind of a random pick for this guy. Not, I guess he's building Denver and yeah, this guy is not building well at all. These are all Western Conference teams. Clearly, somebody who doesn't have any idea what they're doing. No offense to this player. There are a lot of new players who don't really have an idea what they're doing. But yeah, not a single Eastern Conference player on this team. Not going to be a strong contender. That's the beauty of these drafts. There are plenty of people who just don't really know what they're doing, and you can assume that you're getting EV every time somebody's building like that. All right, so now I have a finals team. I've got 3 Warriors players, 2 Bucks players, and then of course I've got Julius Randle, Karl-Anthony Towns is my upside plays to get me through the first round, maybe the second round. Looking okay there. And do I have any secondary stacks going? Now that's another question. So I have 3 Warriors players. Yeah, so I don't have a great Timberwolves. I was thinking if I could get Ant in there, but I've got 3 players from the Warriors. If I had 3 Bucks players, then maybe I'd consider throwing Ant in there, try to build up a secondary stack with the Timberwolves, but I don't really think that makes sense. I could build up a secondary Knicks stack. So I've got the 3 Warriors, guard and wing, and I've got a Knicks big. So I could easily build in a Knicks stack at this point. Let's see if there are any. I think Jalen Brunson just went, unfortunately. So I can't build. I could take RJ Barrett, a fine Knicks spot. In general, though, I think my preference has gotten to be rather than building secondary stacks, I'm trying to build for the highest upside to get me through the first couple rounds. So even with RJ Barrett, like he's fine, but he doesn't put up enough fantasy points that I think he's helping me as much in the first couple rounds as like Anthony Edwards. Clearly a better option if I'm trying to find somebody who's going to get me through the first couple rounds than RJ Barrett. So he's not going to be my next pick, I don't think. Could take Brandon Ingram. Could take Shea, SGA. I think they're not looking so hot right now, the Thunder. Yeah, down to 5%. So I'm not taking Shea there. This is the kind of thing where I don't think you're getting any kind of advantage by taking teams that are unlikely to make it because they've already, like, in the drafts up until now, they had better odds, so people were drafting them already. So, like, it's not like you're getting players who are unowned elsewhere. Maybe I just take Ant here or Bam. I think I just go Ant here and hope the Timberwolves make it to the second round. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Now, if the Timberwolves make it to the second round, I have Ant and Cat in there helping me out. Of course, this team could be dead because the Timberwolves might not even make the playoffs. That would be pretty brutal. But if they do make the playoffs and get through the first round, which certainly plausible, at least less likely now that they are, for a little while, they're looking like they might be the 6th seed. Now it's looking pretty unlikely that they're going to be the 6th seed. They're going to be a play-in team, unfortunately. But they can at least help me in the first round. Maybe it'll be a competitive matchup. Go 6 games, put up a lot of fantasy points, and I can dream that they're going to make the next round, second round, right? All right, so I've got 3 bigs, 3 wings, 2 guards. I have 2 more draft picks to make. I have a complete stack of Golden State and Milwaukee. Do I have a Timberwolves Milwaukee stack here? No, not a great one. If Drew were available here, maybe I'd consider taking Drew Holiday. Obviously, he went a while ago. Man, Brandon Ingram looks pretty good. Bam Adebayo. Where are the Pels now? Pels down at 57%. Yeah, maybe I just take Bam here. The Heat have an 85% chance of making the playoffs. Bam, a very strong fantasy contributor. So I think I'm just going to take Bam Adebayo here. So now I've got 4 bigs. So again, it's not my strongest position in terms of the finals. All I've got is Brook Lopez for my Milwaukee and Golden State finals. But now I've got some strong options to try to help me get there. I think this is looking okay. Obviously, very strong. I mean, when you take really strong picks with your first pick at the position, so like Steph Curry, Giannis, don't have to worry quite as much about the picks after them. You're not trying to fill out the position. You're just trying to fill out that flex spot with those picks. Now here, though, I might consider RJ Barrett. Let's see here. So I could build out for a Golden State and Knicks lineup. So I've got Golden State, Golden State, Golden State, Knicks. If I take RJ Barrett there, I would have a secondary stack, a secondary potential finals matchup there with the Warriors and the Knicks. Not a very likely one, but sort of intrigued by it. I think if RJ Barrett does fall back to me at this point, there aren't enough super high upside players likely to be in the playoffs that are going to outscore. Unless, what about Trae Young? Where's Atlanta now? Hawks with a 59% chance of making the playoffs. See, now that's a tough decision point if Trae Young gets there. Because Trae Young, clearly a much better fantasy producer than RJ Barrett, more likely to help me through the first round, maybe the second round. But RJ Barrett's kind of intriguing to have that secondary stack. I think in general, though, for these drafts, because you need so many points per round in NBA, I think I'm more inclined to take Trae Young, who's more likely to really help me get through the first couple rounds and just give up on that secondary Knicks stack. But if Trae Young doesn't go, then I'll just give in, take that secondary Knicks stack. Wouldn't mind that either. So we'll see what. All right, took D'Lo. I'm going to go with Trae Young here, even though I could have a secondary stack with RJ Barrett. I'm just going to go with Trae Young, take the upside there. I'm really just building for a Golden State and Milwaukee finals here. So that is my final lineup. I built for Golden State, Milwaukee. So in the finals here, I'll have, if those teams make it and my lineup gets through, I'll have Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Giannis, Klay Thompson, and Brook Lopez. Pretty strong. Obviously, I got sniped on Draymond over Jordan Poole. I don't think that's the end of the world, though. I think that's a fine lineup. Obviously there's a little bit of negative court, like Jordan Poole, to really spike an upside, you want either Steph Curry or Klay to be out, and I have Steph Curry and Klay in that lineup, so I'm building for that to not be the case. But he still has upside off the bench. He could certainly still outscore Draymond Green. So I think I'm okay with the way that lineup turned out. Didn't go perfectly, but honestly, I've had worse drafts. That was a draft that I'm fairly happy with. I think that it gave me some opportunities. Let's see, where are my drafts completed. The dance. Yeah, here it is. So I think I have good odds of making it through the first round. Assuming, I mean, Atlanta not a guarantee to be there, but I'll have definitely Steph Curry at the guard position, Giannis, and then at the big position I'll have. I mean, these teams only. I think the Knicks are already in the playoffs. Yeah, Knicks already in the playoffs. I'm gonna have a strong big to help me in the first round at least. Hopefully the second round as well. You know, Brooke Lopez, if I need him in the conference finals, I think that'd be fine. He's a good enough producer. So I think that this is a strong enough squad that can help me. You know, good enough players to get through the first round. But then if it is a final of the Warriors and the Bucks, I've got a pretty solid lineup there. It'll definitely be competitive with a lot of the best players from the game. So ultimately, I think I'm fairly happy with the way this draft went. No complaints from me. Anyway, if you have any more questions about Underdog NBA Playoff Best Ball, feel free to ask. I've done a few of these videos now. If you can comment on the video, if you have questions, feel free to DM me on Twitter at PlayerQDFS if you want to ask me questions, any thoughts you have on these types of drafts. But that's going to do it for this video. I'm pretty happy with the way that draft went. Go Wolves! Hopefully they can make it to the playoffs. And go you. Good luck. Good luck in these drafts. I'll catch you next week, I think, for one more of these before the playoffs. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the playoffs end before then. I don't know. But good luck in the playoffs coming up.